Hello everyone, welcome to the third episode of Chat Room from Chaaya, Media and Mass Communication Club of RVITM. Today we are honored to have with us Dr. Nagashettappa Biradar sir, current principal of RVITM. He has over 26 years of experience being an educator, researcher, administrator and a professor. He also wears the hat of a startup director at V3MNS Smart Tech Solutions Private Limited. He has multiple responsibilities as senior principal, the NAAC and NBA director, and academic senate member of the university, shouldered successfully. Let us have a conversation with him what his mantra truly is. Sir, before your academic professional journey began, what traits or qualities stand out?
It was the discipline and hard work that would stand out, and being born in a middle class family, right? The ethics which were being given to me, right? Especially my father, my teacher, had a lot of influence on me, right? Being disciplined, being that was what it was, right? And we had that fire in our belly, saying, being coming from a very middle class family, right? Difficult to meet 2 times lunch was difficult. Then the only answer to that was getting a quality education and trying to work out and stand out.
Can you share one of the stories of your childhood that influence how you are today?
It was difficult to get the required books, right. Then what we used to do is we used to go to the library and sit with him, right, and ask him, ensure that the library was kept open, right, else it was not a practice of keeping library open late night. Therefore, what we did is we requested and told him we are going to sit into the library and get those books, and it was next to impossible to purchase those books, it was not possible. Then we used to sit in groups, right, each of the subject, right, each one of us used to study a subject or two, then sit in a group, discuss to them, because it was not possible, we did not have those resources. So, that is what we used to do.
After engineering, you chose teaching profession. Can you tell us about that?
I had passion for teaching, right. Being in school, right, my teacher used to tell me that you would become a good teacher. That probably kept me, right, at back of my mind it was there that probably I will be a good teacher, and I love teaching, right, it is my that is what I love to do it, and then I took forward. Now when I compare, right, what all choice I made, I feel I did a good choice. Maybe my earning is far lesser compared to my friends in the industry, but being helpful to, right, being able to shape career of so many students and also trying to help them out, right, makes me very happy than looking at my bank account.
You did your PhD in IIT Roorkee. That's where your research journey began. Can you share your journey experience and how did it shape your career?
Before going to IIT, right, we didn't know that it would have been that tough, right, to do a PhD. Then I had gone with a mindset saying I will do a research on a particular area, but I could not do research into that. Then, right, it was most of, right, trying to map the technology to some human need, right, that was what was told to me. Then I started interacting with doctors at PGI Chandigarh. My research is on heart, right. We have designed a software which will help in early diagnosis of abnormalities, right. That was one thing, it was more of biology than we, right, the engineering which, right, I belong to electronics and communication engineering, the filters which we had studied, right, the circuits which we all had studied, right, an application of that was there what I had to do, and that kept on motivating. The other thing which made me do a good research was when I went to the hospital, each of these time when I went, right, there was a huge queue, right, for one ultrasound or one echocardiography it takes around 30 to 45 minutes, but doctors do not have so much of time, There was such a big queue at PGI Chandigarh, and standing there I used to stand by my guide and try to understand what the doctor is doing, right. That is how, right, that changed my entire outlook of research. For me, right, research is something where trying to give some solutions to the real world problems, right. That changed my entire, else my thought was just it is one more title like the other degree, UG, PG, and next would have been my PhD.
You've received significant funding, government funding for your research work. Can you share us how finding research-worthy, fund-worthy ideas was?
Since my research was basically on to, right, health, right. If you look into the rural India, if you look into rural India, rural sector, right, we do not get these facilities, right. The idea was to give them some solution where, right, it is very difficult to take a patient from a small village to even taluka hospital. Even taluka hospital do not have these facilities. Therefore, our research was focusing on to that, right. Can we, right, we were into getting a handhold device or a system, right, which will, right, anybody, any illiterate could understand. This was the thirst of our applications to these grants, and we were able to do it. We were able to do it. Because of that, we started a small company, right, V3MNS, and we were doing a pretty good job, but then again I am back into administration. It has taken a beating. And this probably being an administrator and trying to devise is a tough thing, but still the most thing that drives me is my research. Even if somebody says go get into research, I will happily do it, leaving being into administration.
You play the role of an researcher, administrator and a professor. What do each role play in your life?
All these have made me a better person. All these put together have made me a man who tries to understand, right, the problems. For me, right, what is more important is, can I help someone sometime, right, in what all possible way, as a professor, as a researcher, as an administrator. My outlook is, how can I help somebody, right, so that their living becomes better, right. And in all these cases I was able to do it some way or the other. In all these four cases I was able to help, right, very happily can say, right. The earning of my is my alumni, right, my old students who get back to me, they talk to me, that is the best thing.
May 2017, you started your administrative journey as becoming one of the youngest principals of a reputed college in Kalyan, Karnataka region. Can you share your journey there?
It was a surprise to me. It was quite a surprise, right. There were plenty of my teachers who were working there, teachers who had taught me engineering, teachers who had taught me, right, from first sem to 8th semester. It was, right, a challenge, right. We did not have good admissions, we did not have, right, that research culture was not there, and the facilities, right, which were required for the growth of the kids, they are all not there. But it was a challenge, but, right, I had an opportunity with challenges, and we were able to introduce all these, right, current trend branches. Probably we were the first ones in Kalyan, Karnataka region to bring AI/ML, data science, cyber security in a rural place where no one had heard of it. And we were also being part of a system where our institute was selected as a Super 30 institute, right. Among top 30 institutes in Karnataka, we were one which, right, is right now developing as one of the best institutions in Karnataka.
Being one of the youngest principals, how did your age influence your journey as being a principal?
Being young, right, was on my positive side, right. I had that energy, I had that zeal, and also I had that, my thought process was very different from others, right. For me, right, research was important. For me, developing the facilities that are required for the career of the student was important, right. Placements was a challenge. All this was quite, right, this thing. And being at IIT, right, having spent 4 years at IIT, the research culture of IIT I had seen. Therefore, I would see that, and I wanted that to be brought to the college there.
Sir, I was able to have a conversation with one of your previous colleagues when you were the principal. He mentioned whenever there was a function or some authorities were visiting the college, you always made sure to stay up late with your staff and the students and make sure everything's all right. How does that influence your involvement in the...
See, I am a family member, right? For me, institute is in my family. It's as good as my personal family. Therefore, being a family man, it's my duty, right? I'm one among them, right? It doesn't make, right, whether I'm principal or right, as a faculty. It's our duty to see to it that every single event goes off well, right? In a family, right, each one of us shares a burden and right, does a function. Similarly, that's also important, right? One is the responsibility, other one is that belongingness which we had said. It's mine, right? It's ours, which we should get it done. Therefore, I feel ki when all there is an event, right? No, it troubles, right? You'll have to have some sacrifices, but still, it will be really fulfilling, right? It makes me so happy saying, right? I was able to contribute. Else, as a principal, I would have said only a few papers and sitting back in my air conditioned chamber would not have helped me.
Being a leader, you have to face a lot of constructive criticism, from feedback to multiple different responsibilities. How do you deal with constructive criticism?
It's a chance to refine myself, right? I take any feedback that's given to me. I'm a human being, right? I have, right? If I have one good quality, then I have 10 right, things where I can improve. If somebody points out, that's a good thing for me. That would be really good, and I'll try to improve myself. There's nothing wrong, right? That's the most welcome thing which I'll take. Somebody comes, sir, you went wrong this, then next time we'll correct it. See, else how do we grow, right? If you don't, right, I can't see my back, right? I feel ki what all I'm doing right, but I might be wrong. But I have that courage of making a decision. We'll make a decision and try to convert, as Ratan Tata says, right? Ratan Tata kept on saying, right? Decide on something and make it correct. That's what I also believe. Decide on certain things, work on it. Definitely we'll err, right? Erring is not a sin. See, when in a process of doing, if you take example of Rahul Dravid, right, it's one of the most successful cricketer we have seen. But he would not have hit centuries in every single match he played. He himself says, right, there are right 40 odd or 50 odd matches out of the entire thing which he played, right, was successful. Similarly, for me, I believe that, right, I believe ki putting that effort is important, taking everybody together is important. Therefore, my first thing I do is when I see anything, I would have called my team, say this is the problem, how do we address it? And we decide, and it's not a personal decision.
Can you share your biggest leadership wins in your career?
The biggest was we hosted, right, cultural fest at Bhalki, right, where we had participation of 100 plus institutions participating, and we were able to do it. We didn't have experience of doing it. None of us knew what it means, but we were able to put up in a very remote places with no facilities available, right. We were able to do it successfully. That was one. Being part of Super 30 Institute was the second. Then we were able to do, right, the system which was about to shut doors, we kept it live. These were three important things which I feel very, very important.
You play the role of administrator and a professor whenever you you're joined as a college principal. How do you manage both being a principal and a professor?
It's very easy, right? You finish off the job of a professor in the morning, then continue with your job. That's pretty easy. Being professor is always good than being an administrator.
Okay. Is that why you always choose being a professor? Then
being a professor, I'll be in touch with my kids, right? I'll be in touch with students. You'll got to learn a lot of things from them, right? Kids, right? This generation kids have so many innovative thought processes, right? We'll have a chance to interact with them. Else, what happens is being only into administration, I'll not know the pain points of my kids. right? It's very difficult, right? What students are undergoing, what is, see, sitting here I would have decided on it, but really what's their problem I would not know. But when you are on ground talking to them on day to day basis, definitely you will know, okay, hey, this is where we are going wrong, this is where we are doing good, we should improve, all that comes in.
So, talking about new generations and kids, how do you try to be connected with this generation and coming generations?
I keep talking to them, I love talking to them, try to understand them and also tell them, right, where they are going wrong, and also learn from them, right, how, see, the thought process of what it is, right, what difficulties I had, right, in my life, probably my son does not have. Therefore, my son may not appreciate the efforts we had done. Therefore, I keep telling my stories, maybe my stories are boring to them, but still I keep telling this is the difficulty we had, this is how we have come. And probably it might inspire them also, saying, right, it was difficult to get 2 times of, right, lunch or dinner, right, peoples have grown up, maybe something like that.
How do you narrate those stories to your children so that they even get influenced and work hard?
Right, most of the time, when all there comes a situation, no, I tell them, see, this is what you used to get, right, this is what we used to do, you do it. I don't deny them, right, if being, right, being a father, it's my duty to give them what they want, but I give them, but tell them, see, this is what it means to get this. It's not as easy as it looks like, but it all, and they are quite understanding also. Really, I have good support of my wife, my kids, because of which I spend a lot of time on 2 campuses, else it would not have been possible.
Upon joining RVITM, you personally met with all the faculty members. How did that affect your process of being a principal here?
It helps me in understanding what they are, right. I believe in talking to people, understanding them. It's not only once I spoke to them, really every now and then, whenever I get a chance, I talk to them. I talk, right, I try to inquire regarding their families, I try to talk to them regarding their well-being, their pain points, and I also make it sure that before putting anything in black and white, I would have called them and told them, see, this is where we are going wrong, can we rectify it? And they also happily understand it. If things do not understand, then probably other things will fall in line. But I believe in, right, talking to them, addressing them. Then when we converse, no, like what all conversation we have now, similar conversations will definitely help trying to understand each other. Then see, my thought is, right, RVITM should be a family, right. People have difference of opinion, people have, even in our family we will have different, right, different people have different perspectives. Having different perspective is not wrong, but with among those perspectives, can we choose one and go ahead? I cannot implement all perspectives at one go. Let's choose on one and move ahead. And if you err into that, if you don't get the expected results, choose the next one and do it.
What quality of yours you have learned from your school days that you implement till now for administrative, professor and a researcher positions?
Right, being disciplined, being on time, right, that's one thing, right, being simple. I don't believe in, right, probably the way I dress up, the way I believe in being very simple. I don't believe in other things. Probably these are 2 things, right, and right, being truthful, being faithful. Yes, when I am being paid, what all I am being paid, I am paid, right. But I should meet to these expectations. And this is where, schools were being taught, being from a very residential school, right. For us, being punctual was the important one, being disciplined was important, doing the hard work. Now, these, right, you kids would have said ki being smart is good, but we believe in now hard plus smart, that is what we believe in. Sometimes you will have to work hard. I am saying hard work because there are a lot of things which we do not know, like you people, right, you are tech savvy, probably you ask something, you will get to us, but we did not have those. Now, we will work hard and get them.
Can you share us a story where you started knowing the importance of discipline and where did you learn it from?
It was from again schools, right? I had wonderful teachers, right? Schools, right? Where uh, that's where I learned my discipline. See, being disciplined, right? Being a youngest principal, right? You said I became principal at the age of 42 when my teachers were there. That's the best example. I believe because I was very disciplined, I was very punctual, I was all that, right. But I don't boast, right. I don't believe in all that. I believe in every day, right. Every morning is new chapter, right. Keep doing what you are doing and improve upon. That's the one reason, right. Probably being youngest principal, right. At the age of 42, can you believe there were teachers, right, who had taught me 58 years, 59 years, still they are working. They had to report to me. That's the one, right. Else why they would have picked somebody at that young age to me.
Sir, you mentioned you studied your engineering and became the principal of the same college. How did you feel?
It was nice. It was really very nice, but it was challenging also, right. You know, right, when which brick was being kept, how it was built, and now you are supposed to use that, right. Therefore, it is a good opportunity, right, because I knew most of them. I knew the system. It was easy for also for me. I also knew the other side of it, who does what. We would now never anybody anytime would have said this fellow is going to become the principal, but we would have shared each other's stories so many times. Those stories helped me.
You've worked in multiple different cities like Indore, Pune, now Bangalore. How does cultural heritage affect engineering institutions?
It affects, it has an impact, right. I had very small stint at Pune and Indore, probably maybe around 6 to 8 months, but they are very different cities, right. Indore is the cleanest city, but it was a skill university. It was a skill university where Pune also is a skill university. Therefore, since I have joined here, I keep talking if inculcating skills or developing skills is important than the marks you students secure. Therefore, I am being telling all my teachers ki try to talk of the skills, right. Tell the teachers, right, when they teach in the class, let them tell what's the importance of that, what job roles, right, it would be required, what skills are required for a particular job, right. That's the way forward.
What is the domain that you're most excited for coming technology and what would you like to change about this education system?
The impact of AI on healthcare is one, right. AI is going to have lot of impact on the healthcare, right. Probably being a developing country ourselves, right, and having coming from a remote, very remote places and a very humble middle class family, right. There are n number of problems which, right, these tools can help us, right. I see one, right, AI. I know that AI is not going to replace a teacher nor anybody or not going to snatch it, but more skills would be required. That's one. Then VLSI coming up, right, coming from electronics, I feel VLSI and embedded systems would be the two, right, areas where we will have lot of impact.
What would you like to change about the education system?
We need to bring in that what is important now is right, we should get those skills, right, before students leave these premises, right. They should have skills that are required for them to be employed. That's what is important. Giving them a degree certificate would not help us, right, if students have not inculcated some skills, right. Skills plus their communication skills, their presentation skills, and the last is their attitude, making them understand ki, right, they want to, right, people want to climb the ladder maybe from point X, but they need to start from 1, right. Unfortunately, right, they have opportunity of starting from one particular point and going up there, not knowing the base. So, the basics will be important. That would be also very.
How do you deal with different kinds of opinions in your circle?
There will be there. See, what happens is what best suits me should be taken. I should study the impact of the possibilities which we have. There will be n possibilities, but which suits us, For example, we are institute affiliated to VTU. There are a lot of things which doesn't suit to us. There will be an opinion saying why doesn't he change, why doesn't he include, right, introduce so many courses. That is not possible. Therefore, to do that I will have to cross across, right, reach to that particular point and take it up there. But being in the same system, right, how best can I do it? Because opinions are fine, right, we should appreciate them. Whosoever gives you some opinion, gives you some feedback, we should thank them. It is an opportunity to improve ourselves, but it does not happen overnight, right. What all somebody wants to see, right, change cannot be done overnight, but I believe in working hard and ensuring that what all we, right, aspire to be, we reach that particular goal.
The 26 years of your career, can you share one turning point in your career that changed everything?
Going to PhD at IIT was one turning point. Second was, right, becoming principal at engaged with the two which were very crucial, right. Then I became academic senate member. I was able to grow up like that, right. But apart from this, right, going to class every single day, right, talking to students, students coming back, right, all this helps.
What is your dream education system or a dream university like?
I want to see to it that we, right, students of RVITM or we are able to contribute to the growth of the nation in some way or the other.
Sir, we have a small segment called rapid fire. First question. If you weren't an educator, what would you be?
I would have been a lawyer.
One thing that instantly earns your respect.
Being disciplined.
If you had a day with 0 meetings, or no emails, what would you do?
I would read books, I would do research.
One value you would never compromise on, no matter the cost.
Discipline.
A leadership mistake you secretly wish everyone should make.
Ignoring certain things. Ignoring what you have seen. Sometimes ignorance is also required in leadership.
If leadership had a soundtrack, what genre would yours be? I'll give you some examples like classical, structured, timeless, disciplined, rock, bold, high energy, uncompromising, and hip hop, visionary, confident, rooted in your rhythm and message.
Third one.
Hip hop. What do you notice first when you enter a classroom?
Students sitting on the first bench. Students occupying, all students sitting in the room.
What's harder to teach, confidence or curiosity?
Confidence.
What's something people assume about you that's completely wrong?
I am stringent, strict.
One quote or thought you stand by?
We have miles to go. We have miles to go before we sleep. It's one thought, because we have still long journey to travel.
Lastly, one word to describe RVITM's spirit.
Teamwork.
Okay, thank you, sir. It was honor to talk to you. Hope you enjoyed and had a good conversation.
Thank you. Hopefully, I was able to answer most of your questions. What all best I could answer, I answered. What all came to my hands, I didn't give a second thought. Thank you.